make a motion to approve the hiring.
Okay.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve hiring Jake Windsor, starting date July 23rd. A call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Rear-Shank, aye.
Very good. Got a few signatures to get caught up on here, fellas, so.
Sounds good.
Here's these.
You don't need to sign that one.
Thank you. Here's those. Yeah, I shouldn't pass that one, sorry. You probably want this one back, don't you?
I don't get to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get a copy of the resolution?
She usually does two wrong, so I'll get one. Yep, thank you.
There's a couple reports. Quarterlies, I should say. Got him, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay. And Gina?
Gary Benson, he was doing our setup along with Tom Kinsey for our election equipment. He resigned, and so I have on the agenda for you guys to accept his resignation. I'll be honest, it came in June, and with the pile of papers on my desk for the primary election, it got shifted. But I want you guys to formally accept that, or acknowledge that.
There's good, take it anymore.
Yeah. We appreciate his help and we'll miss him, so.
I make a motion that we acknowledge the resignation of Gary Benson from the auditor's office for the election.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded, and I'll call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Rear-Shank, aye.
Now, along with that, I attend obviously several committees and meetings for continuing ed for state election administrative training. There's a lot of counties that they use actually their board of supervisors and their maintenance department to set up the precincts. And obviously, you know, I don't know how other counties do it when the board of supervisors is up for election, so that's where we haven't ever designated that. But I've talked to Rick here, and I would ask that it be put in their job description. We talked about it, to have one of the maintenance people, along with, we would still have one of our, you know, additional staff, set up the precincts. So that way we use their truck already, and Rick and I have discussed it of how that would be set up. So instead of reinventing the wheel and doing all that, that way we just always have someone designated and they'd be able to help us it's better use of taxpayer money. We did talk about, Ben helps us with the elections as well. We put an allotment towards his budget from the elections budget. So we were talking, Rick and I, about doing the same, if you guys would be approving of that, adding that to his job description.
Or when he would turn in his timesheet, he would tell me how many hours were elections or maintenance, and then we would pay him accordingly.
So we were just trying to figure out, so we're not always, finding someone to help set up for precincts is very hard. And Tom is willing to keep on it, so that's where I don't want to occupy the whole maintenance department, so that's why I don't want to just designate the whole maintenance. But if we just did one, I think that would be able to help everybody out in the county.
And Ron still graciously lets us use the trailer.
I mean, there's no reason that fellow departments can't help out fellow departments. So if we
And
can all
ours
work
takes
together,
it.
it's better.
It usually takes you all day to set up, right?
It's several days,
Several days.
because quite honestly, you have different precincts that have different things going on. The primary is a really good example where there's graduation parties in a lot of our precincts, so we can't set up at a certain time. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it all depends on the precinct and what they have going on. So generally speaking, it started like Thursday or Friday before the election, and then the last day obviously is Monday, so.
And then the
But-
day after is obviously very busy.
tearing down and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it just works so much smoother, having two people set up the precincts, because we have 18 precincts, and it's a lot to be done in a short period of time. And quite honestly, we just can't step away from the office to do so. I mean, especially in a general election, there's just no way possible we could do that. So I appreciate Rick, stepping forward and asking me about it, and so that's where I was just trying to brainstorm on how we could make this collaboration work and make it ongoing, so it's not, we're not hiring another person, we're just using the abilities and staff that we have.
Obviously, you're good with this.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
It's not gonna short you
No,
and your
'cause-
assistant, is it?
No, it's not like, it's not gonna take away from anything we're doing, so.
Good, good.
And my staff and myself, we help do the local ones, the courthouse and the Benton and that, so.
If we can
Yeah,
do
if
the-
time allows, we do obviously go out and go to the precincts too.
And I've got a lot of more uniform now where I have their staging areas and I have it, so they just basically are able to grab precincts and go, so there's a lot less work for them, so.
So we need to change his drug?
Just add that to his job
Add to it.
description, so that's the reason I came to you guys, because I didn't think it should just fall under other duties as assigned.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure I could have made that, but I think it's up for a discussion. You guys should know that I am taking, one of the maintenance guys away to doing that. Like, I mean, I just thought it should be formally discussed.
Sure. I don't have any issues.
I have no problem if he's willing to do it.
Yep.
Okay. So we
Get
probably
along, Tom.
need to make a formal motion to get that added to the job description.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. That's been moved and seconded to add to the maintenance department's job description the temporary election
Election setup.
setup. Thank you.
And we'll-
Not temporary, it would just be election setup.
We'll get you.
Okay.
signed
All right,
for
not
that
temporary.
protocol.
Yeah.
Election
Okay,
security
good,
stuff.
good.
I think he's already signed up.
Did you already sign that?
Maintenance, I have to have signed up for election security right away, so.
So I will call for a vote.
Seaman, aye.
Gershink, aye.
And Primer, aye. And then, I presume, Sue, you would get that added onto
Sure.
a job description? Okay, cool.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you, Rick. So, and be sure to tell Justin thank you also. Well, we got the quarterly reports there. We've got a recorder quarterly. Here, I'd pass that on. Okay, this is the recorder's quarterly report? Correct?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right, been moved and seconded. I'll call for a vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
And I was looking over the sheriff's. He's got the ledger stapled on the back.
You got the VA, so I'll make a motion to approve the VA's
Okay?
quarterly report, which is all zero.
Yeah, I seen that.
Is the GA one combined on that one? General
Yes.
assistance?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
It doesn't have them separated back then, say VA or GA.
She had a commission sign, which I think this is the VA one.
That's the VA. So,
But maybe she did
Well, that's
combine it
because-
because she had funeral services and
all right. So we probably need to
go back and make sure she.
look at that, if we need to table that
Well, I'm gonna
GA,
make sure she sent.
general assistance. So that was just the VA fellas. We can circle back to that.
We don't have the VA, though.
I know, so she's looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have Cortland's VA.
Okay, so,
Maybe she meant to get it, but I don't have it.
all right, so could I get a motion to table the general assistance quarterly report? Since it's on the agenda.
So move for the table.
Okay.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
Thank you. Gary's still looking at the sheriff's quarterly report, so do you have a application for the courthouse grounds by chance? Sorry, give you a chance to get your breath there. Should be Saturday.
Motion to approve the sheriff's quarterly report.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, been moved and seconded to approve the sheriff's quarterly report. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pearson, aye.
questions on the application for the courthouse use? Tracy?
Motion approved.
Second.
That's been moved and seconded to approve that use of the courthouse grounds for 24th of August by the Vinton Kiwanis Club. I'll call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Undershake, aye.
You want this initial?
You have to sign on that other page there at the bottom. Where it says approve or deny. Add it out.
Oh, other spot.
Yep.
Check the rest of that.
Yep.
Okay, you should have a couple applications for the library board. They just need one, don't they? So,
And Greitner, I think is the first, the last one, is currently serving now.
yeah, that's Jennifer, right? Yeah.
Who's serving now?
Jennifer Kreitner.
I would move to accept her.
To reappoint,
Yeah, reappoint her.
okay, Jennifer, okay.
I second.
That's your second, okay. Been moved and seconded to reappoint Jennifer Kreitner. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Undershake, aye.
Do you want this
I
initial?
just keep them in the file, no,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Then we've got appoint Daniel, is that how you pronounce that?
Yep.
Donnelly?
Daniel Donnelly. With Dean,
As Dean Verba's replacement
Yeah.
on the EM?
because he's serving in a
EMS
different
advisor.
capacity now with it being the director.
Okay. Did he make application, or how's that work?
They.
Or just came forth?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
It has to be on their fire department or first
Sure.
responders.
Any questions on that, gentlemen?
None.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve
So
Daniel.
moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve Daniel Donnelly as Dean Verba's replacement on the EMS Advisory Council from Mount Auburn representation. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Undershake, aye.
Good. Myron.
2 weeks ago, I talked to you about a bridge replacement project, 28th Avenue, 63rd Street. We had 2 purchase agreements for fixes and Radke. The third property owner impacted on that project is a Karen Ryan. We don't need anything permanently for the bridge project, but will impact 2,900ths of an acre for a temporary construction easement. So what I have today is a purchase agreement for the temporary construction easement. We use 10% of the ground value that we assigned $6,000, so $174 is what the temporary construction easement would be to Karen Ryan.
How much was that again?
174.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to authorize that and approve a signature?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to purchase a temporary easement. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Deershank, aye.
Yes, sir. Right there.
I remember.
Just wondering if I said that or not.
You don't have to, no, I just keep it in the bag, I have extra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Myron?
Nope.
Anything
Do not,
for
unless you had any
gentlemen?
questions.
No? Looking good. Thank you.
Mhm.
How about any reports? None? Good.
I had EMS last Tuesday night.
Okay.
It could have been attended better. Hopefully it'll start being attended better than it is.
Good. Very good. Well, let's move on to new or old business and public interest.
My business, it's still on the table. I've asked for an extra week's vacation. Under our current handbook, it says 17 years and more, you only get 4. I have come to the board and asked for 1 week more on behalf of myself, but I would also ask that people that fall in that same category be included, because I feel they've earned it as well. And you understand that it's not been easy to get everyone on the same page to get the handbook changed. And there's not a for sure date on when that's going to be done. So I'm asking for you to,
How is that coming?
Yeah, if you'll remember, when she had asked for that, we were gonna hope to have the revisions for that whole leave section, sick, vacation, and bereavement. Our committee met and had a proposal, and then I forwarded it to department heads, and they had a few things they wanted to look into a little bit more, and so that is why we don't have that proposal to bring today, is they want to do a little more research on some of the things that the committee had recommended. And so that's why we're probably looking at another couple weeks, and we're hoping to get the 25 days, which is what Barb is asking. I feel pretty confident that the group is in support of that, if you would be. So I think what she's asking is probably, if you're in support of it, I think what will land in that final one is just those other, the rest of the tier of vacation and kind of sick leave and some of the other pieces that we were just kind of still reviewing. So probably a couple more weeks out on that.
I know that one of the emails, there was a question how this would affect, this year's budget. And so I don't know if that's been answered yet or not, and so I get it, I understand that.
I think that's, they wanted to do some number crunching, department heads, and see, okay, if we did this, what would that look like? But the general consensus I got was that tier of the 17 years and over, that they felt pretty comfortable that they would have budget for that one, with some of the other ones we were fine tuning.
Very good. Do you think that the department head that was looking at those budget numbers will have the their answer by then?
How, how we left it was, they wanted 2 weeks to kind of crunch numbers.
Sure.
And then we were gonna revisit in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And hope to get it finalized to be able to present to you guys for final approval. And, you know, sometimes life happens, and I think that's why Barb was just wanting to revisit hers in case the 2 weeks didn't end up being 2 weeks. And, you know, we don't want to bring it piecemeal and just bring one part of the handbook and not all. We thought it made most sense for employees to roll it out, to have, okay, this whole section is revised. And so, I mean, yes, the group asked for 2 weeks, and so I feel confident that, yes, in 2 weeks, we're gonna have closure on that, hopefully.
Are you okay with that, Barb?
I would rather not wait. I'd like to have a motion to approve mine. The consensus at the meeting was that that portion of that was approved. Couple departments were looking at the finance part of it, of which I don't feel that's gonna be a problem. But that's not my call, that's yours.
Yeah, I can see both sides of that fence. I really
And
can.
the consensus was that after 17 years, the 25 days. That's not changed.
More concerned with the early on getting so much with
That's where they were
departments
at.
that if they have enough people taking vacation, then you have to pay the part-timers more to fill in that void. So
Sure.
it does affect the budget that way.
Yeah. Yeah, you get it. Okay. I would feel more comfortable being aware how this is gonna affect the budget. You know, not that they don't deserve it, don't take it that way, but.
No, I mean, we were all in consensus that 17 years or the 20 years
Sure.
above do deserve that extra,
Yeah.
the week. We were just, we didn't want to
Need to
go
look at the
fast
numbers.
forward with the beginning part of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
As I say,
Barb
there's
was right.
not that many
There's not that
employees
many
that
for
are
that
17 years
particular
and over,
Yes.
so.
So I feel like you could go ahead and act on that portion, because
Okay,
those employees, like we said, there's a handful of those.
sure. Okay.
I'm the stick in the mud on the early on people, because I got a lot of people. I've got to look at that pretty close.
Sure.
But as far as the long-term people, I'm okay with that.
Is this gonna affect anybody taking vacation within the next couple of weeks? Do we know?
I have one employee, her anniversary date's next month, but we can make it work. Whenever.
If you waited
If you
2
add,
weeks.
it now, we can make it work.
Either way, you'd make it work.
Mhm.
Okay.
How many people, employees, are over the 17 years? How many we talking?
I didn't run those numbers because I don't,
5 or 6 at least, probably.
It'll be a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I have gonna be 2 in my department. Barb, Melinda has 1,
I have 2 that
You
are
have
over
2.
17.
and you have,
I have probably 8 or 10.
because you're talking like
It's gonna
deputies.
amount to it.
And I don't know what Myron had.
Would this affect, if we, it was asked for 2 weeks evidently, was that a week ago?
2 weeks.
Or how long
5
ago?
days,
What's that?
an additional
Yeah,
5
we
days
said we were
after
gonna-
17 years.
oh, he was,
To do the
yeah,
budget?
I think we said we would circle back on, that'd be the 29th. We met yesterday, so 2 weeks would be the 29th. If we could get an answer by that Friday, the 26th, then technically, if
You could have that on the
we could
agenda
have
for
it on
the
the
30th.
agenda on the 30th.
But you guys had told Barb you tabled
did.
it until the 16th,
Yep.
so.
And I can meet that deadline of the 29th, I hope.
You know, as long as they don't have somebody taking vacation immediately, I don't see an issue. You said Melinda, make it work either way with yours office. Barb, if you got anything going right away. Obviously, you're that person, so, okay. Ron, anybody taking off?
No.
Okay. How about-
I got some people, I'd have to go back and look. But I am behind the,
I'm sorry, what's that? How about you, Haley?
Yeah, I'm gonna have one or two, but if,
but I'm behind the additional 5 days for,
I feel like they're deserving of it too.
my only hesitation is that thing has always been a union negotiation piece. So this would mean an MOU.
Yeah, probably for both unions.
With both unions.
Keeps getting more and more involved.
Well, I think it's just,
Well,
the new hires were getting more than the ones that have been here for longevity, and that
Sure.
was causing her
Of
feelings,
course, of
obviously.
course,
'Cause
yeah.
they're longtime dedicated employees,
Totally get it.
so they're deserving of it.
The hiring package is something we really have to, we want to make sure we're in the market on that hiring package.
And we made some good leeway yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's gonna make a big difference in waiting for the 30th.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, but just the idea that if we can pass it, the 25 today, but don't put it in the handbook yet, even though we passed it,
Okay.
I think that makes it a
until the
little
30th,
gray.
until you come back. You follow me?
Yeah.
I do.
I think that just makes it a little murky. I mean, some of the feedback employees give is, what version of the handbook is relevant? Do we have this holiday? Do we have this? I just think when you start to do some of that, it gets confusing for, what's valid and in place, effective what date.
I guess what I'm looking at, if we pass it today, 25 days, your next meeting before the 30th, the 29th, or whatever date you got set, that board, that group does not have to discuss it, because we passed it already. What you gotta discuss is what the new hires and the younger ones.
From
That
what
piece is
they're,
out of the way now.
from what they're telling us, Tracy, is this 25 days, for 17 years or more, is
Basically.
not
An issue.
an issue.
I know it, that's why I said, we pass it today, though, that definitely, they don't even have to talk about it at the meeting.
Yeah.
No.
I get that. But I also understand trying to do it all at once.
Well, I do too, that's why I was saying, if we pass it today, it goes in effect, but hold off on sticking it in the handbook until you pass the other stuff. It's in effect, but it's just not printed. It'll be printed in the minutes and everything, but not in the handbook.
Okay.
Or that you're giving your blessing, but it's gonna be on a future agenda item.
Yeah, I don't know that Gary's pretty silent over there, but I'm not opposed to, rewarding long-term employees. I'm not opposed to that at all. Doesn't sound like you are either, so I don't know that it's gonna be an issue. They think it's a good idea on this committee. We're, 2/3 of us at least are in agreement. There's a head nod. So, I don't see it as a problem. If it's not going to affect anyone's vacation over the next 2 weeks, I think it'd be smart just do it all at once. Get this hammered out on the new hires. That's really the only thing that they're looking at. And that was a budgetary question.
All right.
Is there any way, is a week enough time for you to crunch your numbers that we could just postpone it 1 week and bring it back on the agenda next Tuesday?
There's a possibility, just depends what happens between now and then. I don't have control over most of that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay,
Because there was concerns if it was gonna affect the budget, then you guys would have to be the ones to grant the budget amendments too,
right,
in retrospect.
right.
I don't like that idea. My budget, when I got this email, I was in a new budget 11 days.
Well, I know that,
We should have had this in December or wait till this next December. That's when we do the budgets.
okay, well,
Well, we did the union negotiation.
We've got to bring the union in. I don't see that there's any way that either union would say, no, you can't give our
correct,
employees more
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But
Well-
it's still the process we have to go through. But Barb is not union representative.
No, no, no. And I can see the point that, you know, within this time frame, if you think it's gonna affect the budget on the new hires, then that could be put off from the handbook and we could add that 17 years at that time. So, yeah.
I think, well, I know from our meeting yesterday that it was unanimous to go with the back end, 17 years.
Or, I guess you can look at approving the 17-year timeframe and putting in. Oh, it is not, that's right. Okay.
You see that now?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, I mean, Barb was just coming basically to speak about her own.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so if you, I believe that would be under old business if you wanted to grant just Barb's. To do it the whole thing, you're right. And that's where I was like, okay, if Ron could run his numbers in a week, could we just do it in a week and then it would be all one approval process?
Yeah, you're right, because her original request under old business was just hers,
Right.
but it's not fair to the other employees, no offense, Barb. Are you okay if we table
I'm
for
gonna
just-
tell you no. I
Yeah.
wanted. You told me the 16th, and I had faith that you would do that.
Sure.
And that it didn't happen. I think it's outside of what my request was. That's not what the committee was thinking at all. That 17 years or more was a consensus to give that. Now Ron's,
And I agree.
and he agreed, and I don't think there was anyone else that disagreed with that. That whole section, I understand that he needs to crunch it for the new hires, and that may be something that needs to be visited. I'm not confident that that's all gonna get visited and ironed out in a week anyway. That part of it may or may not be done.
Well, I think in that case, if you say in a week that you can't do that, then maybe we're not revising the rest of the vacation schedule, we're just doing that last year, but then we could roll all the other ones in.
I personally, Barb, would feel better rolling all the long-time employees in with yourself all at once.
And you can do that. I spoke about that at my meeting. I did.
Yeah.
I asked for myself and anyone else that had the 17 years, so that is of record. And you said the 16th, you would look at that.
But your original request was just for yourself.
It was for me, I put it on the agenda, but I also asked for you to include anyone that had the 17 years or more to get that 25 days.
Can you look back?
Yeah, I think
She
she
did
did
look
bring it
at
up.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she was just pointing out the fact that they were maxed at the 4 weeks
Okay.
versus others getting 5 weeks.
Sure. Okay. Well, if that's the case, if that was herself and all others, yeah. And we told her we'd give an answer today. Looking for thoughts. Pretty quiet, Gary. Speak up.
How many total people are there?
Well, Ron said he already said about 8. Haley said she's got 2. Melinda said she has 2. I mean, we've already gone through this. We don't know about the secondary roads, for example. That we don't know. I don't know about any of the other departments, how they are longevity-wise.
You probably did the years of service, look at that.
I'm sorry.
The years of service, have you worked on that brochure at all for this upcoming year, Sue? You can pull up the last year's and you should be able to highlight which ones right there that are above the.
Sure.
Yeah. And Myron wasn't there yesterday. I'm just trying to look at his notes here quick. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to misrepresent. We said it was unanimous yesterday, but we did have a couple people that weren't there, and so I can't speak that all department heads were in agreement with that.
I wasn't there, but I'm
Sure.
I'm not sure that, that Myron would be, for sure. I just don't want you to approve that, and then he says, wait a minute here, I can't speak for him. I would have asked him to stay. I thought you were just looking at maybe Barb's today, so I just want to point out that I'm not sure he's good with that or how many he would have. I just,
Okay. All right.
Secondary roads could have,
Could have a pile of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could be, well, like, it could be 7 or 8. How many employees does he have total?
Doug Cook, just a quick point, Barb's point, she did say that she helped the other employees got this on 6/25, in your 6/25 meeting. She also wanted it as of July 1st, is what your original request was, so. Just my notes.
Thank you. What do you guys want to do?
Well, like I said originally, when I was talking about it, we pass it today, the 25 years, don't record it in the handbook until you get the other stuff revised by the 30th. And when you revise that section, you do it all.
Secondary roads has 9 that it affects.
There's none.
9,
Deb just responded to me.
yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. I just, as he's taking the time to review his budget, I just don't know, you know.
And I'm
if-
sure
if that's a
Myron
big
would
hit
wanna
on
look-
Myron's budget.
look at
Again,
his.
he wasn't there yesterday, and I just want to make sure that we don't overlook that, that's all.
Because he's been in the past fairly
So
touchy, you know,
we
with his
could,
budget.
with the secondary roads stuff, if we have a bunch of people taking it in January,
Or if they have vacation carryover, you have to be conscientious too. If an employee would retire or leave, they're entitled to be paid out for that too. And a lump sum, which affects budgets too.
Sure.
Because we even thought about maybe putting a disclosure in there if, you know, you had to carry over, maybe then obviously you shouldn't get paid out if you had too much time to use.
Is there any timeframe whenever secondary roads, or can they take it anytime they
Well,
want?
vacation is based on your anniversary or hire date, but the
Right.
budget year is the calendar year, July 1st to June 30th. So then they all get the new wage come July 1st, even though, so there's different things to look at.
That's why we pay out the comp time, the last pay period of June, because moving forward, it's at a new rate.
It's at the higher rate. But I know the union now, they don't have to use their comp time before their vacation, correct?
Correct.
So there's just some different things that we have to
So when I look at
take into
the,
consideration.
Haley had brought up the years of service pins, last year, 20 and more would be, we had 21. So there'd be 21 that would go into that bank then, and then,
Minus the elected officials, because we're exempt from that.
so take,
Myself, Melinda.
3
Lexi.
out of that,
Yeah.
4.
This is kind of like giving a midterm raise, you know, because that affects the budgets. And I think it's very wise to check the budgets. I feel that they deserve it, but just as we have felt other employees have deserved midterm raises, but it was timing.
But then you have to be considerate too of how you have recently hired newbies with more than those
Yeah.
dedicated employees that have committed over 17 years to work in Benton County.
Totally get it, totally do. I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it,
You know,
not at all, because I think they're very well deserving. It's just how does it affect the taxpayers? That's the bottom line. And I think it was wise to look at that. You know, I think Ron is the one that said he had wanted to question, see how it's gonna work in his budget. I'm sure Myron would wanna know how it's gonna work with his. And if we can get an answer within 2 weeks, we were hoping to get it within the past 2.
We weren't shared that until last week,
Correct,
so.
correct, yeah. Yep,
I would say in my budget, taxpayers are getting the bang for their buck. We're down an employee, I've stepped up and taken on the role of the administrator. I didn't get any extra pay for that, nor did I ask.
what do you want to do, Gary? Tracy's basically stated that he'd like to get this thing done now. I'm kind of in support of waiting 2 weeks to look at the budget for the department heads to check their budgets. Where are you at?
I don't have a problem with your request at all. You've worked hard. It's been tough, but the rest of the folks in the county, they haven't faced all the challenges that you have. So I would give her, and I would wait with the rest of the county till we get it squared around.
her request was not only for herself, but for everyone with 17 and over.
I understand, but in 2 weeks, it isn't gonna matter that much for the rest of the county as it will for her, because she's short. She's been working hard at it, she's done a good job. I'd give her the time right now.
So you want to single her out from everybody else?
And I don't know how we do that, but
Okay, I'm not sure that that's, I think you're gonna have 20-some people looking to put your head on a block.
it's been there before.
Yeah. So,
But we gotta know where we're at with the budget. That's what we gotta do.
I'm gonna bring this thing, I'm gonna make a motion that we wait 2 more weeks, put this on for the 30th, and I want an answer from the department heads how this is gonna affect their budgets. Because this is the obligation we have is to the taxpayers as well as our employees. So, and in the past, like I said, midterms, we haven't done midterm raises. This is essentially, this affects the budget. So that's my motion, that we put it on for the 30th of July. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Okay? Been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pierce Hank, aye.
Very good. Is there any other comments?
Can we make sure it's on the agenda?
Well, yeah, that was my motion to be on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Okay. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Pierce Hank, aye.
Very good. Thank you. Crunch your numbers, Ron.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm assuming Myron will.
Myron will need to do the same.
If we can get it done by Friday, we can get it on for next week.
Yeah.
Well, there's a motion for the 30th, though,
30th.
so.